In this section, we're going to discuss the cost portion of our profit equation. So specifically, we're going to talk about variable cost and fixed cost. So recall that our profit equation equals revenue minus cost, but what actually goes into this cost term? So variable cost, this is a cost that varies with output. So as output increases, the cost will also increase. But fixed cost does not vary with output, so as output increases, fixed cost will remain constant. So we can write total cost as a function of fixed cost and variable cost. So we can say total cost is a function of Q equals fixed cost plus variable cost, which is also a function of Q. So let's take a look at an example. So here we have the cost of Snickers bars. So the total cost equals 5 plus 0.5 Q. So notice that the 5 is not dependent on Q, but the 0.5 is multiplied by Q. So that automatically tells us that our fixed cost is 5 and our variable cost is 0.5 Q. So on the left-hand side, we see quantity running from 0 all the way up to 10, but notice that the total fixed cost remains constant at 5 for all of those quantities. Now the variable cost, we see that it's increasing by 0.5 for every increase in quantity. And then our total cost, again, is just our sum of both the fixed cost and the variable cost. So we start at 5, which is the fixed cost. We have no variable cost at that point because quantity is 0, and it runs all the way up to 10. We can graphically represent this equation as well. So notice that the fixed cost line is perfectly horizontal at the $5 level, whereas the variable cost starts at the origin and increases to 5 at a quantity of 10. So now we see that the total cost is the summation of that increasing variable cost and that horizontal fixed cost. So it's just taking the variable cost and moving it up by 5. In this section, we saw that total cost can be broken down into fixed costs and variable cost. In the next section, we're going to talk about two more costs, average cost and marginal cost.